So Manchester United, they're losing 2-0 to Real Madrid. We lost 3-1, the under-21s did, to Wrexham last night. Tonight, we lost 2-0 to Real Madrid, and they deserved the win. Two fantastic goals. Jude Bellingham with the chip, Joselu with an overhead kick. I mean, what you're supposed to do. The overwhelming positive from that game was Andre Onana and his debut. Give me 10 minutes of your time. I'm going to run through everything because you probably didn't stay up for that game. I very much did. This was a team that started the game, and let's be honest, the thing that, man, as soon as this happened, like, what was it? 5 minutes into the game? Casemiro, I think, tackling Rodrigo. Rodrigo goes down heavily on Kobbie Mainoo. It was an impact injury. It was just an awkward, unfortunate injury. Kobbie Mainoo, I hope that is nothing serious because I wanted to see him in that midfield today. And I tell you what, we really, really missed him when he went off the pitch. And I'll speak about Christian Eriksen a little bit later in the show. I hope that was nothing but precaution. But he didn't look particularly happy. He didn't look comfortable. And we missed not having Mainoo on the pitch. And from that moment on, there was just a moment of madness, really. He wasn't even on the pitch when the ball went over the top. The linesman was sitting around, was just doing a bit of this. Jude Bellingham, through you go. Yeah, through you go. An outrageous goal from Jude Bellingham, and I'd expect nothing less. Really, really crap start to the game. And Real Madrid obviously had their quality, but I want to just take a second back here to speak about the debut of Andre Onana, because that was the storyline going into it. That was what we were all looking forward to. Now, you might say, Sam, hold on. How are you going to be praising the performance of a goalkeeper if your team just lost 2-0? He just conceded an overhead kick in like the 90th minute, and it was an outrageous chip from Bellingham. You might say, oh, Sam, you shouldn't have run. He needed to rush off his line. He needed to close down that space. I saw a lot of positives with Onana's game, right? This here is a picture taken from the crowd high up, and you can see Andre Onana's position, and that was a massive difference in this game. I've been speaking about it. I've been looking forward to seeing it, and I saw it straight away. He completed 95% of his passes, 39 out of 41. He was always available to his man. He came and he occupied a much higher position. We can look at the heat maps here of Real Madrid's goalkeeper and Andre Onana. You can see Real Madrid's inside, just stuck in the confines of his 6-yard box towards his 18-yard box line. Central, very central. Andre Onana drifting left a lot, which kind of tells you that he's building up towards Martinez, probably because that's what he knows, right? And sure, but Andre Onana occupied a much higher position. Andre Onana found himself in these positions all so often because he wanted to be, and it made a big difference in Manchester United's ability to play out from the back with the ball, right? That's where the difference was made tonight. Positionally and from a distribution perspective, the change was immediate with Onana. Now, did we win the game? No, we didn't win the game. Were either of those goals his fault directly? No, I don't think they were. Manchester United just were not good enough up against the Real Madrid team. As I said, when Mainoo went off and the midfield battle was basically lost at that point, they controlled it. But Andre Onana can be really proud and happy of his... Maybe not proud. He can be content enough with his debut. I wanted to see certain things happen, and I think they did. And his positions that he held made the difference. That's what we need to... That's what I wanted to see straight away, and it's what I saw straight away. Now, it's a shame that it's coming in 2-0 defeat, and Erik ten Hag will obviously have questions to ask about that. But I think he'll be pretty happy with his debut. Now, for me, as I said, it was actually this moment where the game basically flipped for United. 5 minutes into the game, Kobbie Mainoo went off. We started with a midfield of Casemiro, of Mainoo and Mount. He went off, and this man came on. And Christian Eriksen, man, I thought he was so good for Manchester United last season, in the first half of the season. Well, after the injury, obviously, he never quite came back. Christian Eriksen, I don't think can be used in every game this season. Christian Eriksen needs to be used correctly. If we're playing a team with a low block, Christian Eriksen will suit that midfield because the game won't be zipping and mega fast around him. I think we saw it away at City last year. That was a game, I remember it. The game at the absolute elite level is just a bit too fast for Christian Eriksen. It's not to say that I don't think he should be playing plenty of games for United next season, but we have to pick and choose which games they are. Because that game there was too fast for Christian Eriksen. When you play Eriksen and Casemiro there, the weaknesses of those two together now exacerbate each other. And that's why, for me, ultimately, the game. So I'll tell you what, I personally feel that Erik ten Hag, at the point of Mainu getting that injury, I think probably the smarter move would have been to move Bruno back through the middle and play Anthony on the right-hand side. Because I really do not like this whole, let's just, just shift Bruno out to the right-hand side. Yeah, he'll play there. He's captain. He'll do what the manager asks him. No, man, play Bruno through the middle. Bruno's our most creative player. A relentless presser in the middle. Bruno and Mount there. That's what's been good about our pre-season so far. And it wasn't there. The shape sort of changed a little bit. And United's ability to play through the middle and play with the ball changed with it. I don't really particularly like the experiment, and I don't particularly think we should be seeing too much of Christian Eriksen starting games like this against Liverpool, against City, against Arsenal, where the game's just going to be a bit too fast. Use him correctly in other games, and he can still have a massive impact on this season. There were quite a few players who I think came away with stripes in that game, and Wan-Bissaka is definitely one of them. I don't think anybody's proved me wrong more than Wan-Bissaka, man. It's like one-touch football is kind of natural to him. He's really taken on board what Erik ten Hag has been asking him to do. One-touch, two-touch football, playing it around the corner. He just seems like a totally different player. And it goes to show you how much of an impact a coach can have. When you have a player who has the quality and the ability to take on board instructions and adapt and change their game, which is a credit to Wan-Bissaka. And it's also a credit, as I said, to Erik ten Hag and his coaching team for getting him confident and getting him playing like that. Vinicius Jr. must be like, but he's got to be the hardest player to come up against in that. He got beaten a couple of times. Man United weren't just, Real Madrid is just on the top level. It's pretty much only City who can compete with them squad-wise. And, yeah, they scored 2 absolute worldies today, and one of them was offside. So I don't think we got absolutely... I think we played better in the second half for sure. Tell me... I don't want anybody to try and train this out of Martinez, but he really did take on board Erik ten Hag's "we don't play friendlies" little quote before one of the games, didn't he? Absolutely flew in on Bellingham there. Not even looking him in the eye. Don't change at all, my man. I thought Garnacho was quite sharp in that game. I quite enjoyed watching him. He did square up to his defender a little bit too much. He went for the step overs, and kind of the same thing happened like 3 or 4 times. But he did look sharp, and he was one of our only dangerous outlets. Marcus Rashford was a bit muted. Jadon Sancho had his moments in that second half, as did, I thought Scott McTominay had a pretty good cameo when he came on. I thought Harry Maguire had a pretty decent cameo when they came on. But ultimately, it's about this, man. That is the big positive to take away from this game. It might be a 2-0 defeat to Real Madrid, sure. Pre-season, what matters in pre-season? Fitness, building patterns, and getting no injuries. Well, we got an injury there tonight. Fingers crossed it was nothing more than precaution. But the patterns were there straight away with Andre Onana. He occupied that high position. That's going to make such a difference to United controlling games of football. We may not have controlled it there today, but it is Real Madrid. And it was Andre Onana's first game. He's only going to get better and more confident. As I said, he completed 95% of his passes, 39 out of 41. For comparison, I think Real Madrid's completed 75%, there or thereabouts. That's easily the biggest takeaway. I was more than happy with his debut. It's just a shame that Mainu injury and Eriksen's replacement effectively meant that Manchester United had no real control over that midfield because Christian Eriksen, unfortunately, the game is too fast for him now. And Real Madrid were blistering on the transition, and we couldn't really stop it. So that is now what we've beaten Lyon, beaten Leeds, beaten Arsenal. We've now lost against Real Madrid. We've got one more game on tour, and that is against Dortmund at 2 a.m. on Monday morning. I'm going to give, well, I wouldn't say, no United player is going to get man of the match. I think Jude Bellingham got man of the match, and rightfully so. Man, it is such a shame. It's such a shame, isn't it? Anyway, Andre Onana, I'm delighted with that debut. You can let me know what you think in the comments below.